This is the community that I was raised in. This is home. This is where my family is. This is the community that I'm really going to live in for the rest of my life. And I want it to be better for somebody else. I genuinely want it to look better, feel better, just be better for somebody else.
All right, you're listening to Leading San Diego. I'm Veronica Prandi, Executive Director of Lead San Diego.
And I'm Adrian Quintero from the Davis Hart Foundation. Each episode, we sit down with Lead alumni to explore real stories of community leadership across our region.
And today is our season 1 finale, and it is a special podcast because we're highlighting something that we really look at as like the heart of Lead, and it's the relationships that begin in the program and then that last and extend beyond the program. So we're joined by 3 friends, Rodger Dougherty, Cathy Lloyd, and Valerie Attisha, who met during Lead Impact, which is now known as Impact, 2005, and who have stayed connected ever since. You can talk. It's gonna be fun.
We celebrated our 20-year anniversary last year.
20 years?
20 years of friendship, and we've been able to work together as well in a variety of jobs. Rodger's the only one who's still at the same place. He's the only one who can hold a job between the 3 of us. But Valerie and I have kind of gone through career transitions at the same time, so it's been a really good sounding board and confidant as well.
So let's go back to the beginning. All right, so you all met in the now what we call the Impact in 2005. You meet, you're in this program, you didn't know each other before. You stay connected for now 2 decades, your 20-year reunion. You do monthly breakfasts, you have personal friends, and you've been there for professional support since 2005. How did this all start?
Well, it started when we got put on the leadership action team together. I mean, we met, right, in the program, but when we were on the same LAT team together. Elder Help was our nonprofit. And we helped them come up with a strategy that year, and that began the friendship. Well, the friendship began in the program, but that kind of solidified it, get to know each other and working closely on that LAT project.
That's really cool. What was it about you all? Like, what made it be like, okay, these are my people? Like, you guys, what was that moment like? What was like the moment where you guys were, okay,
That's a good question.
I don't know if there's really one moment. I think everything is sort of built upon each other, and we kept on finding each other at different community events or different things, and we had dinners, and it just has continued.
And to be fair, I mean, the whole LAT team really did stick together for a while. We got together a couple times. People move, folks fade, but this core group, we never did.
So I like to ask like kind of where people were before they came into Lead, and not to point it out, Rodger, but you were sitting with 4 local San Diegans, born and raised, native San Diego. And so when you came to San Diego, you were a newbie, but you had, already had a first full chapter of your career. You were in, the fire service, you were a paramedic, and then you came into public affairs. So what did your life and career look like when you first started Lead?
So I got here in 2001, and there was a similar program when I was in Tucson, Arizona. That's where I was a fireman. I also worked for Cox Communications there in southern Arizona. And there was a similar program to Lead in Tucson. And so I was familiar with the concept, and I knew it worked. And so when I got here, first 2 things I did was, I joined Rotary because I was a Rotarian in Tucson. I was on the board for the Casas Adobes Rotary Club. So I joined the downtown club. And then, when you're a newcomer to San Diego, it's a big community. There's a lot to learn. And Lead gives you that sheep dip of everything you really need to know and connects you with all the different facets of the community, arts, culture, all the industries, everything. And it really is. I mean, it gives you a leg up. It gives you a jump start. For somebody coming in new who doesn't know San Diego, it is essential to do. I mean, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, it shows 25 years of, public affairs at Kaiser. What you've like built and led that for 25 years. That's like super impactful. What has made you stay in that field all that time?
Well, 2 things. One, the field, I love the job. I love the industry I love the profession of public affairs. And no day is the same as the next, yesterday is not the same as today. I'm not a sit at my desk, kind of.
Definitely see you
I'm not a
everywhere.
planner or a
Right.
writer. I like to be out in the community, out doing things, and so public affairs is perfect. So it suits my my personality.
Yeah.
But as far as Kaiser Permanente and healthcare, the industry, I found pretty early on in my career. After I left the fire service, I worked for Cox Communications, a great company. Loved that position. I chased a .com job up in the Bay Area, and it was an offshore IT outsourcing company. And I learned, wow, mission matters. What your
Yeah.
company does matters. And I had no connection with that organization. .com stuff crashed anyway, but I would have been miserable there. So I knew from that point on, I needed to be in a service industry. I needed to be in something that matched with my values. And healthcare was it. And Kaiser Permanente, as the largest nonprofit provider of healthcare in the nation, it's perfect. Their mission, vision, and values perfectly align. And the jobs kept growing and changing and kept it interesting. So that's it.
So Cathy, we'll turn to you for now. Where were you in 2005? So you started in kind of public media, you moved into commercial work, and now you're here at iHeartRadio.
2005, I had graduated from San Diego State in 2001. So
Go
I
Aztecs.
still go Aztecs. So I was still, very early in my career.
Yeah.
And a woman I worked with, Jillian Michelle at KPBS, was a lead board member. And she came to me and said, I want you to do this program. You're the perfect person. And at the time, KPBS didn't have like a formal application process. So because she said I was going to do it, I got to be the KPBS.
I was in. You're in.
I was in, and I learned so much. Besides my friendship and relationship with these two, that's really what got me into board service. Because another woman on our lab project, Carney, introduced me to a local nonprofit that was foster care focused. And so I started getting involved in the community that way. And then it just sort of kind of has exponentially grown over the years.
And you're very involved in kind of mentoring and mentorship specifically of women. Where did that come from?
I think I was lucky enough to have amazing mentors throughout my career, generally female mentors. And I feel strongly that you need to pay it forward. And so whether it's formally or informally, it's definitely part of who I am. And I've been able to, we had AmeriCorps people at KPBS. I still keep in touch with some of those girls from, 18 years ago. And so I just think I love doing it, but I think it's, a requirement and brings me joy too. So
I like that, giving back and paying forward.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I'm also a board member as well on the Davis Hart Foundation. It's been really cool as a young leader to step into that role. And so it's really an impactful role to be able to have a say in the organizations. And so, Valerie, you were raised here in San Diego. I want to go back to 2005 for a little bit. You said that there was so much that you didn't know about San Diego that until LEAD really shepherded that way for you. Take us back there. What were you discovering about the region of San Diego and also about yourself in 2005?
Sure. So I was in my 20s. I was working at the San Diego Foundation, overseeing their community scholarship program. And I think similarly to Cathy, the foundation had an opportunity to send a couple of people through the LEAD program that year. And I just happened to be one of the lucky ones that year. And I'll never forget, we were at it was an arts and culture day, and we were at the park in Escondido. Kit Carson Park.
The fact that you remember that.
Which is amazing.
The amazing artist with all her sculptures.
Right.
Nikki Saint somebody or other.
Nikki Saint Fale.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
And I remember being there thinking, gosh, I've never been here. I've lived in this community. I was raised in this community. I mean, when I was a kid, every Sunday we would drive around to different parts of the county, and I just kind of looked around and was awed because I'd never been there. And it was one of those moments where I realized, gosh, even though I know so much about my community, I just don't know enough about my community. And so being able to, whether it was at Kit Carson Park or whether it was crossing the border or whether it was going down to oh my goodness, I think we went to the airport authority that year. I mean, it was just
Maquiladoras. We got to go to Maquiladoras.
Oh, it was
giving me ideas to bring stuff back.
It was amazing.
Awesome.
It was amazing. And it was such an experience. And then that's, I think, similarly to Cathy and Rodger, I think that's when I realized, gosh, there's so much more that I want to do that is outside the scope of my work. I want to be involved. I want to be engaged. I want to serve on boards. I want to serve on committees. And I think for me, the big challenge was like, I want to do everything. And so how do I take that want to do everything and kind of narrow it down to the couple of things that I really want to do and focus on?
Yeah. Also being able to see all of the things, right? Seeing all of them with
not just learning about them.
Yeah, not just learning, but seeing actually going into places and being there is kind of a different experience. And LEAD has different programs, right? And so you have done Impact, Advance, and Influence. What did each of those do for you at that chapter of your life? Like in those chapters?
And you did Impact in 2005.
Correct.
And then Influence in 2025.
And
2020. Yeah. Oh,
and
Advance
but
in 2020 and then Influence in 2025.
So it was a 20-year gap
there's-
between those.
Yeah. I was really fortunate to go through Advance with Cathy. And Cathy was the one who encouraged me to apply for Advance. And we sort of went through this together because we were both sort of in this like new position, transition, pivot in our life where we were both sort of rethinking about like, you know, is what we've done over the course of the last couple, you know, 2 decades or whatever, like what we really want to continue doing. And so it was truly such a blessing to go through this with her because we would sort of connect with one another after every session and say, okay, what did you get out of this today? What did you get out of this today? And we would sort of have those conversations. But I think what's probably the more important piece is that I went through each of those programs when the timing was like, not only did it feel right for me, but it felt like the right time in my career. So Advance was this whole career shift. Impact was really at the start of my career. And then Influence was this opportunity of like, okay, wow, now I'm in a different role and in a different light. So what does it look like from this perspective? What does it feel like from this perspective? And in each one of the programs, I've learned and grown so much and met incredible people along the way.
Yes, really.
So you have this shared experience. The 3 of you have the shared experience of going through Impact. The 2 of you have the shared experience of going through Advance, and it's obviously created a bond that has lasted. What did LEAD and the connections that you made, like what did that do for you in creating San Diego to make it feel like a more navigable community? Obviously, you came, you said there's a lot to learn, there's a lot of people, but when you make these connections, how does that make it more connected for all of you?
I think it takes a certain type of person that goes through the leadership program, somebody that is open and wants to learn and do good. I mean, at the end of the day. And so I think just having sort of that as a foundation. I'm the only one on here that still asks for I'm in sales. So I'm the senior vice president of sales. And so it makes it that much more comfortable and build that relationship where I know you're a good person, you know I'm a good person because we've got LEAD in our background and kind of in our pedigree. Is there an opportunity to work together, you know? But I think it just, or get somebody to join it because I'm also on the board. So invite somebody to join a board, or I think it just gives sort of like that great foundational presence of a good person.
What someone has said before was that what LEAD helped create with the experience of the people going through the cohort, it changed the relationships from transactional to relational. So you have that foundation that you're not just making an ask for the sole purpose of an ask and not getting anything. It's like you have this trust, you have this foundation that you've created a relationship with this person that you can confidently go and make an ask.
Right.
Yeah. And the other part too, like just thinking more about you guys and being friends for 20 years, like friends, actual friends, what like long term, that takes a lot of intention. Like you can't just be like, oh, okay, we're going to be friends for 20 years, you know? Like,
it's not just a statement.
Yeah. What has this friendship that you all have done for your leadership professionally and personally?
It's certainly helped me grow. And you know, we can use each other as sounding boards, and we know each other, we trust each other. So you can, you know, cone of silence, bam, you can go there if you need to.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know how many people actually have that kind of a relationship. I mean, I'm sure folks do, but I mean, we definitely have got that. We can, you know, we can rely on each other, we can trust each other, we can count on each other. And just to be able to, you know, we're in different industries, but you know, San Diego is the biggest cul-de-sac in America.
Yeah.
So
it's a big small town,
right?
Yeah, right. It's and so just to be able to navigate here it helps to have friends who have a different perspective. I come from a healthcare perspective. I come from a public affairs perspective. I may not see things, you know, that I might have a blind spot.
Is there a secret sauce?
I don't know if there's a secret sauce other than I think that it's the combination of we genuinely like, respect, trust, and value one another. But I think we have those honest conversations of, well, this, like, we got approached for this, or we're doing that, or whatever. What do you think about that? Like, what's been your experience? And so, I think to Rodger's point, like, we have sometimes we can be very insular in the way that we work. And so to be able to have the perspective of two people who I just respect and trust and have so much integrity, I think means the world.
So actually, when we talk about that being insular and taking yourself out of that silo, I think Lead does a really good job at bringing 50 individuals from different industries, different backgrounds, different perspectives, and then now you all have a friendship. Like, how does that help you move something forward in the community? You're all on your boards and you all do work in your own roles that are engaged in the community. Is there a specific part of either the relationship that you've all established that has really helped you kind of see a better, you mentioned this, like see it from a different perspective, but take a path forward that you might not have if you didn't have a sounding board like each other?
Absolutely. I think, so in part of my role is fulfilling sponsorship requests. Folks, we have a considerable grants process and sponsorship process. And so I personally and my team get a lot of requests.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of agencies and there's a lot of worthy agencies. But to, not yes, within this group too, but just within the broader Lead group, all the graduates, the alumni, you can pick up a phone and call, hey, I mean, all you have to do is look in the Rolodex and it's kind of a stamp of authenticity, right?
Yes.
To be able
Yes,
to pick
I've
up the
heard
phone
that.
and call and say,
Yeah.
call Phil Blair and say,
Yeah.
hey, Phil, I don't know these guys. Do you know them? Or you ever run in, that really, that makes a difference.
It really does.
It does. Yeah, it does. But also it's when you go to events and someone is being honored and recognized, they might forget half of the different organizations on whose boards they served, but they always mention that they're a Lead San Diego graduate. And so the sort of the cachet around being a graduate and the importance of being around a graduate and what that all means. I mean, I think that's how we feel. I think we feel like so honored and privileged to have been a part of the program.
Everywhere I go. That's what it is. Everywhere I go. Every time I meet somebody, how did you meet so-and-so? Oh, Lead. I was like, okay, that's cool.
It's the best kept secret. And then once you find out about it, you're like, wait, how does everyone know about the secret that I don't know about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm excited to be a part of the group.
Yeah.
Every podcast, I'm like, the anticipation grows every podcast.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. 20 years, you'll find your people that you
I
find
know.
in the program.
Like, we met in Lead, and I'll be, oh my goodness, I don't even want to think about it.
Actually, I do want to talk more about that showing up and the effort that it does take to show up and kind of get off the sidelines, get into the game, whether it's, and talking about the friendships, it's nowadays, it takes effort to have friends as adults. You have your life. You've all gone through many stages, finding your partners and getting into the new roles. Like, how has either your experience in Lead, like, truly helped you show up as a leader and show up for the community? Because you all are everywhere.
There are a lot of things to do in San Diego. I mean, there are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of nonprofits, there are a lot of events. And I think but it's hard to prioritize sometimes.
Yeah.
But again, back to what Rodger said, like if you know that certain people that you've met through Lead, I mean, we're obviously always together, but if you know that Lead is supporting an event or somebody that is affiliated with Lead, you want to make an effort because it's good work. And also I shouldn't say everybody, but most of the people I've met through Lead San Diego are fun too. And if it's not going to be fun, I'm not going to go. I really want to like the people. I genuinely want to like the people. I mean, over the years I've been asked, I was doing something with Salvation Army and they asked me like, why are you here? I'm like, this person right here. Like, I really love her and, a staff member who made an effort and showed up. And so it's mutual.
So let's talk about kind of the collaboration, the professional sides. Like when you're healthcare, you're banking, and you're in media, and that collaboration, it really depends on, like we talked about the not transactional, but the relationship. It's complex. So when you are trying to do work, like you said, he's a client and you've done work for PNC, how has that approach kind of affected how you work in the cross-sector space within San Diego? Has it improved it? Has it made that approach easier? Like you know how you're going to do it?
easier. I mean, you were doing business with CBS Radio when we first met. So that kind of business relationship sort of preceded our relationship, but then we've built upon it and expanded it and done some really, really great things, more community focused. And that's what our relationship has been as well, is more of the community focus, the nonprofits, education, really the stuff that matters.
Yeah. It gets complex with
Absolutely.
like cross sector stuff. Do you guys have any advice on cross sector work across like San Diego? Like,
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you go
Well,
to a
Yeah.
lot of events, you know a
so-
lot of people.
yeah.
I don't know that the cross sector is a challenge if you look past that to what the benefit to the overall community is. I hope that makes sense because, we are in different industries, but we have a common goal of helping San Diego grow and be healthy, and not just in a healthcare sense, but you know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
the
It's with
community,
integrity.
the communities, the health of the community is important
Yeah.
to us.
Yes.
And so, cross sector is, shouldn't matter if, I do have a swim lane, right? I can't go outside of my swim lane, for our grants and our donations and things like that. But if I can help, and there's, I might be, like I said, I might have a blind spot
Yeah.
that, Valerie or Cathy can bring to me and say, hey, have you guys ever thought about this organization or that? And I was like, oh, and so that's the benefit. And so is that cross-pollination for the betterment of the greater San Diego is what's really important.
And I think
Yeah.
we talked about this a little bit yesterday. So there is an opportunity that's come up for us, and we're looking for another partner. And so I floated the idea by Rodger, and he said, that's a really good opportunity. I'm not sure if we're the best fit. But let me look into this. And so I think having those honest conversations, right, about what you can and cannot do. The flip side is that one of our funding priorities is the military, as is Rodger's. And so I lean a lot on Rodger because this is a space he knows much better than I do, in terms of like, what are you doing? What are you supporting? How are you supporting those organizations? What does that funding look like? What does the program look like? And so in that sense, it's having the honest conversations about what you can do, but also what you can't do. And then, so I think the three of us are really good about that, and just understanding that we want to be able to support one another in every way possible, but it's just not always feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's an important part is that, we don't have to like you don't have to be something you're not.
Yeah.
We can just say,
Yeah.
hey,
You found a
that trust
comfortability.
and just being authentic and
Yep.
just, we can speak our truth. If
Yeah.
it works, it works, and it's none, there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 It makes it a lot easier to get stuff done when you can talk honestly and openly with folks without having to worry about.
That is true. Yeah.
Where do you
Politics of
think
it.
you would be if you hadn't met and lead? Do you think your lives would have crossed in professional paths would have crossed eventually? Or do you think like having that like established experience going through lead, being on the lab projects together, was that the foundation? It's like, I want to think
Yeah.
like, what if?
Absolutely.
What if we didn't meet? Where would we be?
I
question.
think we would have met
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely will.
because we go to so many events and we're almost all there together. I think we would have met. I don't think we would have had the connection, the friendship, we are usually, when something good or not so great happens, we're usually like amongst the first that we text about what's going on. So we would have met. I just, we just would not have been the same.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have had this.
Right.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of events in this
Yes, there are.
town, and so we definitely would have met, and we've met, but we meet a lot of people. We meet a
Yeah.
lot of people,
Right.
and lead is the anchor point for us at least. That common experience, and
And I think that's
set
something
the
that you've
stage.
been experiencing as we've gone through this conversation. It's been really unique to hear. You all went through in 2005, but your sentiments and your takeaway are very similar to someone who went through the program in 2025.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of, you were hitting on it. It's the people who go through lead have this kind of, it's like them getting involved in the community, them caring about the community. It's might not be the cause of it, but there's a certain type of person that there's a correlation to their drive and their
Yes.
care for the community that lead helps build, and you're going to get to experience that.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, no, I mean-
I'm really excited.
Any advice for a potential newbie
Yeah.
coming into
Oh.
lead? Like, what? How should they approach it?
Just do it.
Be
Yeah.
open
Just
to
do
everything.
it.
Just jump in, be open to
Right.
everything, raise your hand for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that that's sort of what we all do just
Mhm.
naturally in life.
Yeah.
And so definitely apply that to lead, because who knows what you're going to be
Yeah.
doing next year. I mean, there's so many cool things that like come up every year. I mean, I remember it was I think a mayoral, there's some sort of political something going on. And we were in the Channel 10 studios, and Carl DeMaio, who I worked with at iHeartMedia, was there with his charts. And I was like, I mean, he's really smart, but he's got these weird charts going on. And now he's like I think an assemblyman or something, but I worked with him. And so I had that basis, like super random 20 years later. So you never know what's going to
Just
happen
never
in the
know.
future.
Keep an
Yeah.
open mind. I mean, we all come with, our maps and our perspectives and,
Yeah.
biases and whatnot. Try and, just come with a blank slate
Yeah.
and take it all, drink it all in, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
raise your hand and get involved
Yeah.
and jump
Okay.
in, both feet. Don't
Thank
even look.
you.
Close
Thank
your
you
eyes.
for that.
Yeah.
Jump.
Thank you. Valerie's like, just do it.
Yeah,
So-
just do it, yeah.
I'm a ditto.
Yeah.
One last question before we wrap up. You are all very involved in the community. You're part of the Rotary Club. You sit on several boards. What makes you continue to say yes? The question for each of you.
I think for me, well, no, I know for me, this is the community that I was raised in. This is home. This is where my family is. This is the community that I'm really going to live in for the rest of my life. And I want it to be better for somebody else.
Yeah.
I genuinely want it to look better, feel better, just be better for somebody else. And that somebody else could be tomorrow, and that somebody else could be 20 years from now. So I think it's really, I'd like to hope it's important for people to know that it's important to be involved in their communities, to ensure that there's access and there's opportunity for so many people, because while we might have been fortunate, not everybody else has that gift. So I think for me, it's part of who I am and part of how I was raised and part of how I want to show up, regardless of whether I was in this job or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be able to give back and volunteer, and paying it forward. And it truly brings me joy. I mean, that's what they always say is like, yes, we're doing things for other people, but I am getting something out of it. I do a lot with Brady Children's Hospital. Like, I love being able to talk to those kids and I get invited when they go ring their cancer bell that they're, in remission. And so that truly brings me joy. And I think we do have a responsibility to give back if we can, whatever that looks like. And I have a 11-year-old niece and a almost 14-year-old nephew, and getting them demonstrating good, citizen behaviors is very important, and getting them involved. And my sister is the same way. She's on several boards as well. And she's a real estate broker. And so it's not like a company is telling her she needs to go do this. It's just part of who she is as well.
I'm not sure I can add much more. I agree with everything that's been said. I think, we have a responsibility to make a difference. I mean, what I can contribute, might be we all bring different skill sets and different perspectives, but it's really important to do what you can to make a difference, because you don't want to just sit and be a consumer of things and a taker of things and a beneficiary of the beautiful community that we live in and all the things that are happening. You really, I don't know, for me, you gotta participate in it. And today, especially with
Yes.
just the, electronics and, just the disconnect and it's more important than ever to show up and be active in the community, whatever it is, whatever your passion is. Don't do it unless you're passionate about it. Everybody's got a passion. Find out what that is. I guarantee there's a nonprofit that's associated with it somewhere in this town. I guarantee it. Find it.
One of the things that I've really appreciated about as I've gotten to know all of you is you say yes to supporting the community, but you say yes to supporting the next generation of leaders. I myself as a, let's say, young leader, but it's the conversations that I've had with each of you of kind of what you're doing and the advice that you very freely share and provide as, I'm growing in my career. And it just creates such opportunities for the next generation, because the legacy that you all are leading or leaving as leaders is evident right now. So
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you all
Thank
for
you.
being here. I hope
Thank
to,
you.
see your friendship in 20
Oh,
years
yeah.
go through impact. But for you all, it's just everything that you have done in your friendship is truly what we want to see out of LEAD is, you've made these connections. You're not just learning about the region, but you're building these relationships so that you can give back collectively.
I'm so
100%.
grateful for this conversation. I really am. Because to see your guys' leadership in the way that you participate in your sectors, but also broad, not just in your sector,
Yeah.
it really reminds me that there is so many people, and the people that are around that want to get more involved and maybe have not been engaged in that way, And so I'm excited as a young leader going out to find people that are engaged in the sectors that kind of are engaged in different nonprofits and
Outside
get
of
to
your
know
knowledge.
outside of my knowledge, and also to get ones that do want to support what we're doing here. So I'm
And
really
have fun.
excited.
Yeah.
While we're at it.
Yeah.
That's
Fun.
key.
And
Yeah.
the good news is that there's space for everyone.
There really is.
Yeah.
There really is.
There, San Diego is huge. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's
Yes.
been
It's
a
been fun.
fantastic
It was great.
conversation. This has been Leading San Diego, produced in partnership with the David's Heart Foundation. Thanks for listening to the entire season.